I'm Braun Strowman, a.k.a. the monster among men. But look at the size of it. As a multi-time champion in the WWE, I've flipped, slammed, and crushed giants in the ring. But there's one thing that's even bigger than my appetite for destruction. Are you ready? And that is my appetite for food. Zoom in on my mouth. It's watering. It can take a lot to feed this monster.
You look like you can eat.
I didn't get 350 pounds by accident. From hidden culinary gems, wow, to hometown legends across the country, I want to try it all. I'm gonna go with everything on the menu. I'm here to learn, and I'm here to eat.
This is our house seasoning.
I can tell there's some black pepper and coriander.
Getting close.
Make sure your lips are sealed before you bite down. It is going to explode.
I want this to stay in my mouth forever. Oh my God. Food talks to your soul. It brings people together.
My mom and dad designed our recipe 77 years ago.
It's about the experience. Get out. Try something new. Tell them the monster sent you. They're just adding more bricks to the meat castle. Thank you for your sacrifice. Don't miss the all-new series, Everything on the Menu with Braun Strowman, October 24th after SmackDown on USA Network.
Hey, welcome everyone to Wizards Outlook. We got Raymond Lyons here, Cardell Dudley Jr., and Wilson Tarpe Jr. You guys saw by the ad October 24th. Get on USA Network. Check that out. One of those episodes we will see local folks over at Who's and Oz featured. That said, the preseason finale is over. We got a week, and then Washington opens their season officially. I think a week to this day. They open next Thursday on the road against Milwaukee. That said, we talked to you guys about what we expected out of this matchup with the Pistons. We saw the Pistons beat the Wizards tonight, 119-98 to 98. Washington looked like they struggled with Detroit's physicality to open the game. We saw them respond and match the physicality in the second quarter. Really nice run there. And then, third quarter, Detroit kind of tightened the screws a bit and restored order in their brand of basketball that they played. But want to hear what you guys took from this finale card. I will start with you and then Ray.
Yeah, the Pistons were just a more physical team. And that's their DNA. That's their identity. They're gonna be physical on both ends of the floor, especially defensively on the boards. And you got to kind of match that. And the Wizards got rocked with that. They're coming off a high winning in New York, played well enough to beat Toronto. So you can kind of tell that, we feeling good about ourselves. We like our chances. I'm not gonna act like that Bud going down early, then rock them. I think that shook them up a little bit. And then, obviously the Pistons ain't gonna give a damn. They ain't gonna give them any life. So they just play. And setting the tone was Jalen Duren, super physical, man. He was in that paint doing his thing. 10 points, 10 points to 3 rebounds and 2 steals in the first quarter alone. He was eating, man. And Cade Cunningham was just setting the table with 5 points and 6 assists, no turnovers in the first quarter. And then everybody else just kind of chipped in as you went. But that set the tone. Now the Wizards did gather themselves and battle back. Keyshawn George and CJ McCollum got going. Keyshawn had 7 in that quarter. Alex Sarr woke up as well at 8 points and 5 rebounds. I like that he responded because Jalen Duren kind of took it to him in the first quarter. Last year, he would have faded from, the physicality. He would have faded. Nah, he fought back. Now, let's keep it real. In the first quarter, Jalen Duren knocked him to the canvas, but he beat the 10 count and he got up and he started swinging back. You know what I'm saying? So that's a step in the right direction for him. The ultimate move for him is not to get knocked to the canvas at all. When he come out, just dominate game after game after game. But it's preseason. We got a long way to go to determine if that's the case for this upcoming season. CJ McCollum was, did his thing. I feel like Corey Kispert was also strong in that second quarter run. But like the battle back in that second quarter, I think took a lot out of them. And then obviously this is a preseason game, so come out second half, they was gonna let the players, some of the young players and the players trying to, earn spots in the league, whether it's with the Wizards, whether it's with another team, whether it's in the G League or whatnot, or they're gonna have to go overseas. They kind of let them play, man. But all in all, I just think the Pistons were just a more physical team. They out rebounded them 56-44. They turned Washington over 20 times, scored 26 points off those turnovers. My fault. Detroit had more points in the paint, 56-44. The Wizards actually won a rebound battle, 48-42. But then the 35 assists from Detroit, that just pretty much tell you tonight how it was with the Wizards. That pretty much means the Wizards were a step behind defensively when they moving the ball like that, and so many players eating. Like 35 assists for a team is crazy. And most of that was Cade Cunningham, who had 12 by himself in 23 minutes. He had a double-double, 16 and 12 in 23 minutes. But we all know Cade is a problem or whatnot. But no, it's a good reminder of what's to come in the regular season. They got punched in the mouth, so the Wizards gotta understand. Especially with the season open against the Bucks. Come out with that same physicality and intensity and start punching other teams in the mouth. Stop waiting to get hit to want to hit back. And that's what we saw too much of last season.
Right.
Yeah, they got out to a slow start. And a lot of that they have to do with Detroit. But yeah, the physicality was just a little overwhelming to start. And then of course Bub going down. Pretty sure it kind of rattled them a little bit. And it took them a while to regain their footing. But yeah, kudos to them for fighting back. That's like Ardell pointed out. This season and recently with this team, this turns into 40-point loss because they just never. Once they get hit, they just succumb to the pressure and the other team just piles on. So yeah, I'm glad they were able to fight their way back into it at a point. But down the stretch, Detroit, they just was a little too much for them. I appreciated the intensity from both teams. Actually, they were competing defensively. It was it was good to watch. That was regular season energy in a preseason game. So that's always a positive thing. But yeah, the Wizards were coming off a game against the Knicks where they were just offensively on fire, and things didn't go that way tonight. Added with how Detroit plays, very physical, very astute defensively. And it was just hard for them to kind of find their way. But it's a lesson. This is a young team. But Keyshawn George, he adjusted and kind of stepped into a different role with Bub going down, and I think he did pretty well for the most part. He was super effective, making things hard for Cade on both ends. But yeah, I just think top to bottom, Detroit got more contributions.
Yeah, I think I agree with you guys. I think one of the things I enjoyed was that matchup with Cade and Key going at it. I thought Keyshawn did a good job bothering Cade a little bit, and you saw Cade do what I know a lot of young point guards aren't fully in control of at that age, which is I'm not going to just focus on trying to win this matchup. Let me do my job and run my team. And that's what Cade elected to do. And to Cardell's point, you said 35 assists. The ball was moving. Like, the ball was freaking moving. So that's how you deal, because Keyshawn is a hell of an irritant. We saw that last year. He tends to bother people. Got to bother Cade a little bit in this one. On the other side, I think Keyshawn offensively, you guys have talked about, what this offseason's been to a lot of these young guys, how a lot of them have matured. I know some of them we haven't got a chance to see, like Bilal, because he got injured. But, like, Keyshawn just watching this game, I enjoyed watching him kind of just – you saw his offensive game mature. Just a lot of it was just simple. Get to my spot, get him off me, knock it down. He was killing in the midi for a while tonight. And to Ray's point, when Bub went out, I did think it was interesting, or I don't think I was not that it was interesting, wasn't too shocked that we saw Keyshawn being a primary ball handler because he handled the ball quite a bit last year in different spurts, but they're comfortable with him doing it. I think that's a luxury, and I think that's going to be good. It'll be beneficial for Trey this year too, where you're not going to be asking him to be like, hey, we need you to be the guy if something happens to anybody at the one. Like, there's other options. For Bub, I know the broadcast said it was a sore knee, which I hope that's all it is. I'm happy to hear that it's just a sore knee. I know, this day and age, anytime we see anybody go down, it's, to the most part, we don't see a lot of contact. We always think the worst, so I'm happy it's just a sore knee. It's a week, whether he's back for open night or not, at least, it's not the opposite. We're not on the other end of the spectrum because, he played all 82 last year. Definitely want to see how Alex, and the rest of the youngsters progress this year. All right, guys, I put it up on the screen for last time this preseason.
Jalen Durham, 20-6, 8-10 from the field. 3 blocks. Dominant. And in 19 minutes.
Ray, did you have another candidate?
No, I think the way he started the game pretty much set the tone. And yeah, once you get ahead like that and having the team have to claw back from behind, it's just tough. Sometimes, a lot of people talk about the end of the game. Like, sometimes you can dictate what's what from jump, and that's what he did, man. We were talking about it pregame before we got on. He just imposed his will, and that filtered down to the rest of the team.
Yeah, I agree with you guys wholeheartedly. And we saw the damage they did in the paint as the game went on. Started opening up the shots from deep for Detroit, throughout the game. But it started with them being able to get in the paint. And, like you guys are talking about Washington doing a better job of not waiting to react. Detroit does it. Detroit, Orlando's like that too. They take their big physical kids that they have on their team, and they start almost every game throwing a punch. That's just how they go about business. Like you guys said, he set the tone with that. X factor for the night.
Okay, 16-12. 6-10 from the field. He controlled the game. That's why the Wizards gonna get back in it.
Right.
Yeah, no, I think that was a good point you brought up earlier about Cade, not making it about him and Keyshawn. While he was still playing, but his focus was, all right, let me do what I need to do for us to get this win. Especially at a time when the Wizards were gaining a lot of momentum. Detroit kind of held them off. That was a lot due to Cade's decision making, and just being poised.
Yeah, everything you guys laid out. I was gonna say that's a hell of a 2-man game. We've been watching them two develop past couple of years, and obviously very small sample size. I'm eager to see how it continues to grow. But bro, when you're 1-5 or that freaking physical, that's a lot that's a lot to deal with. Like, that's your 1 of your 5 off some bully type stuff. And they like mixing it up at both ends. So yeah, definitely agree with that. You guys have any takes you guys wanted to add as we head into, again, we got a week before things go, the curtain comes up on the 82 for the season?
Youngins listen to the vets. I think this is the first game where the youngins kind of got a real taste of what's about to come. And this is like the first game Will Riley didn't play well, because I'm pretty sure the Pistons like, yeah, we ain't gonna let this kid get some confidence against us. Trey been up and down all preseason. He was 1 for 8 today. I think they just need to lean on the vets. I'm talking about the rookies, so to speak. The second-year players, too, they do, but they've been through it, so they know what it is. But I'm talking about the rookies, Will, Jameer, Trey, all those guys. Lean on the vets, man. Because if you think preseason's rough, when the real thing comes, yeah, it's going to be real. Let's see, you ain't going to be going against dudes like third or fourth quarter. You're going against dudes that won't be in the league next week. You know what I'm saying? You know, on the Bucks, you gonna have to deal with them dudes that's playing 35 minutes. You see what I'm saying? So, like for instance, like Trey, he might have went in there and he had 6 rebounds. He might have went in there and got a board over, you know, like say, trying to think of a big that they have that probably won't be there. Tolu Smith, let's just say that. You know, I don't know. He might be in the G League or whatnot. I remember him from Portsmouth. Like, let's say Tolu Smith. You might go in there and, you know, get a board over him. But next week, you got Giannis you trying to push out the way. 2 totally different animals, man. And he going to be there 35 to 40 minutes a game if it's competitive. Now, if they beating the hell out y'all, they might sit them. But, yeah, man, you know, but just lean on the vets, man, because one thing I've noticed, because even Chris Middleton ain't have a good game, but he did other things. He know how to be. He know what to do. Anyway, I worry about Chris. CJ McCollum been steady Eddie the entire preseason. He get in there, he do his thing, he go sit. So they need to identify that. But what CJ keep doing? He's keeping it simple, getting to his spots and making plays, man. You know, he is not complicating things. So I think that's what they need to understand. Well, yeah, man, it's an adjustment period. You know, that length and stuff, the speed of the game, the athleticism is just it's different. I forgot. I heard a coach was talking, and they were saying, Sampson at Houston, and he was talking about the freshman and why he really don't recruit a lot of freshmen. He was saying because they're too far away from being ready to help us where we at. And it makes sense. You know, he's right. He's like, we need guys that's kind of already seasoned, ready to go, and then we just got to implement them in our season. Because he said, yeah, he said, I hate how they hype up high school players. Yeah, you were great in high school, but you ain't see, he started naming top players from the roster. You ain't see that in high school. You ain't see that. And it's the same thing in the league. Giannis ain't in college. Y'all couldn't even deal with a Cooper Flag. Y'all couldn't even deal with him, even though he's special, but you couldn't even deal with him and he a young boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't seen Jokic. You like 7 feet, he can punish you in the paint, but can just as easily get 15 assists. Like some of the coldest passes you ever see, just make your entire defense look stupid. You ain't played against Steph yet, where he gonna run your ass about 6 miles in a game, and you just like, yo, what the? But he don't get tired. He giving you 40 off of like 9 threes. Like it's just, you ain't dealt with Durant. You may think you are. You know, little camps and stuff, cute stuff, but you ain't dealt with Durant when he in kill mode. Like when he in, you know, when he addressed Patrick Beverly, they saying he was locking him up, and he was like, I'm Kevin Durant. When he's in that mode, I'm just gonna sit here at this elbow and give you 37. I ain't even gonna move. Like, it's just different, man. And they gotta go through their lumps. And that's the only way they can learn, man. So, but lean on the vets so they can understand that it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. And they won't get too high and get too low. Because we've seen some rookies over the years that just get low and they don't recover. You know, like one that was drafted in the first round about 3 years ago, that's no longer with the organization. So I'm not gonna say his name, it's no need. Y'all know who I'm talking about. So yeah, man, you gotta keep your morale high, man, because it's gonna be some rough nights.
Sure, that comes for all rookies. Everyone's you're gonna have a couple of moments where you have games to choose from when they ask that question on the Knuckleheads podcast. Every rookie has a couple games to choose from,
and there's a reason for that. Because they can identify.
We have options. There's options.
And if you listen to a lot of the answers, it's not really big time, all time great stars. It's like role players.
Right.
They call them on bust my like dog. It be them dudes, and that's when you like, oh, the league real. Like, nah, bro, I got to get at them, dog. Like that's when they click. Damn, everybody nice. You see what I'm saying? So who's on the tour right now promoting that Doc and Book? That's all time great. Allen Iverson. And what's the story he keep telling? How Kevin Johnson made him cry as a rookie. 36-9-9. And I love how AI got in detail recently because you think, oh, he was just ice on. No, he was like, no, it wasn't like saying he didn't kill me with a bunch of ice. It was backdoor cuts, you know, steals, coming off screens. And when you're a competitor, you know when he's taught, it's you. he's scoring on. And then when them numbers start going up, you looking at 5, 15. Oh, God, it gets real. Hey, I crying, dog. You know what I'm saying? So it's real, man. It's real.
Ray, anything to add on that?
Nah, just you know, I agree with a lot of what Cardell talked about. Just since this is a super young team, they definitely lean on the guys that's been there because you know they're talented, but they don't know the league yet, and you don't know the league until you play in the league. So and you got two guys. You know, Middleton's got a ring. CJ McCollum's been in the playoffs several times. He's had a lot of success over his career, averaged 20 points for 10 plus years. So he knows what to do. So yeah, just definitely got to tap into those guys and use them as resources. Yeah, because a lot of teams in their position don't have that. So yeah, that's definitely an advantage. But yeah, and then just continue to improve, and like we talked about Vooch and Star, you know, putting in work in the weight room over the off season, stuff like that, where it's not always about skill per se, but it's other little things you got to adjust. Maybe get a little more sleep, change your diet, stuff like that. Get in the film room, you know, those little things that make the difference. So yeah, man, I'm sure Middleton and CJ will impart that wisdom. You know, even in when you guys were at media day and CJ was talking about telling Trey to find himself a hobby, just little things like that to where you can adjust and learn to live your life as an NBA player.
And tonight is one of them nights he need to get a hobby because you can 1 for 8. And he a scorer. It's just like if you take defense, prior to defense, somebody give you 30, it's gonna be hard to sleep that night.
Mm-hmm.
So I know him being a score, and he can score, but I'm pretty sure he can't remember the last time he went 1 for 8 in the game. He's like, yo, what the fuck? Like, I ain't even go 1 for 8 my first game ever. Like, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? But it's a league. It's a league, man. But he'll adapt. He'll figure it out.
Yeah, to piggyback on what you guys said, the only other thing I would say, just I hope that they keep in mind the entire season is that other end of the floor matters, because we see it when they're capable of it, when they tend to climb back in the games, because that's why they don't. Often it's not like multiple, 30-point blowouts, whatever. Like they'll take a punch and they'll lock in and start digging themselves out the hole. Just like don't wait to react. You can also lead with that. That could be something you can lead with too. Got a lot of youth on this roster. Get some stops, get out and run, and hit the glass. Obviously, please. I don't want any repeat of that game I shall not name last year with the difference on the glass. I don't ever want to see that again at all. But again, we'll check it with you guys for opening night. First 2 games are on the road, and then the home opener is next Sunday. So we'll be busy next week. Wizards Outlook. Don't forget, hit the comment section and let us know what you guys are thinking about the action in these games when we get on here and happily discuss them with you. You guys have a great evening.